What's going on YouTube? I am so excited for today's interview as I had the opportunity to sit down with Niamh from NP Sports Cards. He is a huge soccer card investor and super knowledgeable about the market. He gave me the opportunity to pick his brain covering all topic soccer cards. So if you're looking for the 101 of the soccer card market, this video is for you. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Dakota. Welcome to Cards Over Stocks.
I think the opportunity right now in soccer is just it's crazy. It's how basketball was, I think, like 10 months ago.
Yeah, because
It's just on the come up.
you think so?
Yeah.
Because it's crazy to look back. Like when I first started getting into it, like Luca, I bought him in at like $300, and now they're pushing the $2,000 range. And then Mbappe's prices have gone up almost $1,000 in a week, and it's
Crazy.
like, what's going on? Is he still injured, or is he actually playing?
He's playing right now.
Is he really?
Yeah, he just got put on 10 minutes ago. I think it's half hour left in the game, and they're 1-0 down. So if he goes and pulls some heroics today, you don't know how high those are going to get.
They're going to be untouchable before
Gonna
we
be
know
crazy.
it. But okay, before we get started, I kind of want you to just kind of introduce yourself. You know, how long have you been investing and collecting, and what kind of got you into collecting soccer cards?
So I was introduced into the market by Gary Vee. I heard him talk about it back in probably November, December. And
Same here.
he talked a lot about basketball and baseball and this opportunity. Um, Being from the UK, I don't follow those sports at all.
Yeah.
Um, and I looked at soccer cards then. Messi, Ronaldo's, I mean, the 2014 Prisms now are going for $300, I think, something like that. And back then, I remember looking, and because I was like, this is what I know, I should be doing this, but they're $1, $2. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, well, there's no market here.
Yeah.
Um, Long story short, when lockdown came in, I revisited these, and I saw that they're now $45, $50, and I thought, okay, there's
There's
a trend,
opportunity
something's
now.
happening, people are moving, it's gonna get ready, and then I just went in hard from that moment. So I'd kept an eye on the market for about 6 months,
Yeah.
and then once I saw the movement, I went in.
That's almost my kind of exact same story. Like I was kind of interested to see if you were gonna mention Gary Vee, because that's who got me like kind of rethinking my process. And because I always collected cards, but I never actually invested into them. And I first started looking at them like in December. Obviously the Giannis card is the one that he talked about. It was like $500 at the time, but I didn't really have enough money to buy into it. And then I didn't think any more about it. And a month or two later, I checked, and they were like $1,200, and I was honestly just mind blown. And I was lucky enough that my work gave us a bonus, and I got like an extra like two or $3,000, and I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm going all in. I'm not gonna miss out on this opportunity, and it's honestly been unbelievable ever since.
It's been absolutely crazy. I had so what I've taken a year out between finishing high school and starting university.
Okay.
So I'd been working up until about January, February, and I'd planned to go traveling for the rest of the year, but COVID ruined
Yeah.
everything. So I was sitting on a lot of savings. I think I had $8,000 or $9,000 saved up.
There
So
you go.
in January, when I looked at Giannis and he was 800, I was like, oh, I don't know, because I'm going to need that money later. And then as soon as all my trips and plans got cancelled, I was like, okay,
I don't need it now.
yeah, I don't need. I think it was $2,500 then, and I was like, I'm just gonna get it. I think, you know what, it's gonna keep going up. And 2 days later, the NBA was suspended, and the prices just went.
And you're like, what did I just do?
Exactly.
See,
I was like, well,
that's what happened to me. I bought up a whole bunch of cards, and then it got canceled. And I panicked. I'm like, I don't have extra money just to throw into something. But we're good now.
yeah,
Everything's starting
it's
back
crazy
up.
now. Yeah.
But I did want to ask you, because like obviously we have the NBA playoffs, The MLB season's going on. Hockey has their postseason. Like, what is there an event that's going on right now in soccer?
Yeah. So what we have is the Champions League and
Okay.
the Europa League. So the biggest one is the Champions League. It is the biggest club football tournament in the world, and it's
Okay.
the second most prestigious trophy, I think, probably behind the World Cup.
Behind the World
So
Cup.
the way the format normally works is you have the group stages,
Okay.
and then you'll have a knockout format, which is done over two legs. So you play a team home and away, and then the winner
Okay.
goes through to the next round. So what's happened is because all those games were cancelled back in, I can't remember the last time, March or April, whenever they were meant to play, they've now done mini tournaments. So right now we have the Champions League going on in Lisbon in Portugal, which
Okay.
is, I think it's a really interesting format because it's one leg and straight knockout. So it's really like how when you get to the end of the World Cup or the playoffs or however whatever sport you want to compare it to,
Yeah.
there's no two legs. It's just straight. Every 3 or 4 days they're playing just to finish the tournament. So the
Okay.
amount of interest that's getting. Also, the Europa League's going on at the same time, which is the second tier below that. Not as many great teams in it, but still the same new format, which is really interesting to watch. And this is the biggest stage. For the
See,
Champions League is the biggest stage after the World Cup.
see,
So
that's always been my thing. Like, I feel like there's so many different like little leagues and stuff that I get so lost in. Like, what do I focus on? Like, what's the top league to look into? Like, that's where I personally get confused. I feel like there's just like an overwhelming aspect where, like, basketball you have the NBA, baseball you have the MLB. With it, like in soccer, I feel like there's so many different leagues that I don't know where to look into first.
So the best place to start is the Premier League.
The Premier
The one,
League.
yep, it is the most competitive by a long way. Genuinely, anyone can beat anyone on their day.
Okay.
Um, and we have over here what we call the Big Six. So Chelsea, Man United, Man City, um, Spurs, Liverpool, and I forgot one, Arsenal.
Okay.
Um, those are considered the biggest clubs in England, and
Okay.
they're some of the biggest in the world as well. But we also have other clubs like Leicester.
Okay.
You may have seen Wolves. He's quite Traore plays for them. Quite
Okay.
a big prospect for rookie investors. Um, so we have a very very competitive league in England, which makes it much more interesting
Yeah.
than the others. I'd say after that you're looking at La Liga. So you've got Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Barcelona, which are really your big teams. Then Syria, and that's obviously also where Messi plays, so a bit more interest there. You've got Serie A, which is Italy,
Okay.
and Juventus, Napoli, Atalanta this season have been amazing. AC Milan, so you've got Ronaldo playing over there. You've got Dybala, you've got Ibrahimovic. Um, Again, a lot of big names there. And then I'd say you got the Bundesliga, which is Germany. Really, other than Bayern Munich and Dortmund, there's not really a lot going on there.
Okay.
Um, and last by a long way is the French league.
So the
Um,
French league's at the like the
very like
lowest.
it is. It's joked about as being we call it a farmers league just because there is just no like PSG will win every single year without a doubt. It's just not competitive. The other teams are not at the level which you want to see football being played at. So a lot of the talk around Mbappe, for
Yeah.
example, is I is can he do it in a big league week in week out against actually good opposition?
Yeah.
Personally, I think he can because we've seen it in the World Cup and the Champions League before, and I
Yeah.
think he's an unreal player. But once he moves out of that league and into one that's actually considered competitive and is
Yeah.
actually interesting to watch, um, his prices will just go through the roof when he performs there.
So it's kind of similar to like NBA player down in the G League just dominating day in and day out, and then they bring him up to the big league. So it's like, all right, what are you actually going to do? What can you actually
And if they go
perform?
off,
Like, Yeah.
then yeah,
How do you feel he's gonna do?
he's gonna be phenomenal. He's just everything I've seen from him. Wherever he goes, he's gonna be good. I mean, a lot of people say he's putting up this many goals, this many assists
Yeah.
against easy opposition, but I think he's more than talented enough to make it. He what we do see is a lot of players struggle in their first season in
Yeah.
the Premier League when they move. Pulisic struggled a lot at the start, and it
Yeah.
was made worse by injuries. But since after the break, he's come back and been firing.
Yeah.
Um,
For sure.
but
Especially his card prices.
crazy. I mean, Americans are crazy. I
Hey,
understand.
just a little bit.
I understand it. Like he's probably going to be your best ever player, and he's only 20. I think he's 21 as well.
That's
Um,
so mind blowing. So
yeah,
mind blowing.
it's crazy. But
So,
I think he'll settle in well when he moves.
do you think Mbappe's injury, it wasn't horrible? Do you think that's going to slow him down at all, or do you think he's good to go?
I think he's good. I mean, I watched about 5 minutes before we hopped on with
Yeah.
him back on the pitch, and he looked good,
Like nothing
quick.
happened.
Nothing happened. Like the opposition went from 3 defenders to 5 as soon as they brought him on. So he looks good to go, and the injury wasn't that serious anyway. So I'd be surprised.
Okay, good. That's what I like to hear. I mean, right now I have a couple Mbappe and a couple Greenwood, so those are like the two guys that I've looked into. But something I was going to ask you, when it comes to these players and their card prices, does it matter like what club that they play for? Like, does that really affect their card prices? Like, if a big time guy was going to go down to, say, the French league and play, or a different, like, not necessarily the French league, the bottom, but the second tier, will that really affect his prices?
It depends on the team that he plays for. So if Mbappe moved to Bayern Munich, for example,
Yeah,
which, yes, okay, the German league is still not very competitive,
yeah,
but he's on the biggest team who will be competing for the Champions League, which
okay,
I think the Champions League is really important in that respect because that is the biggest stage that you see every single year. Obviously, the World Cup's every 4 years.
okay,
So as long as they're on a team which is competing for that trophy,
yeah,
in the smaller leagues, that's important. In the Premier League, I would say that as long as they're playing for a big team, um, they should be good. So any of those big six, I
okay,
think it's good. So you have Traore at Wolves, he's just not going to get the same attention at Wolves as he would if he was playing for Chelsea or Man City, because
okay,
Wolves are not going to win
yeah,
something.
okay. I understand. So, and another thing is like when it comes into the card aspect, they're not jerseys, they're called kits, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so do certain cards with players in certain kits matter? Like as much like because recently we've seen like LeBron's like Laker jersey prices like absolute skyrocket because Lakers a big market, but does that transfer also to the soccer card market?
I think so. So one thing I noticed that was really interesting with Pulisic was that he has a 2016 um, Dortmund card and a 2016 USA card.
Yeah, I've seen the USA card because
Yeah,
that seems to be like the most popular.
right. And it's because he's in a USA jersey, right?
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so for certain players, I'd expect that to make a difference. But it's also, for example, now if he stays at Chelsea and
Yeah.
never moves and he plays out the rest of his career there before returning when he's, I don't know, at the end of his career to the MLS,
Yeah.
that first Prism that he has holding up a Chelsea shirt is going to go for a lot more. I think we haven't seen that transfer over yet
Yeah.
for from basketball, but I would I would expect it for the future,
Okay.
definitely.
That's always something I've kind of looked into because I personally haven't picked up any like first year jersey cards of like players. I don't know. I just don't see that being something big for me because they do transfer teams all the time, it seems like.
Yeah.
And that's something that's kind of interested me, like when it comes to soccer players, like why don't they stay on certain like clubs for a long period of time?
So it's all down to the player. So a lot of
Really?
people. So for example, um, Marcus Rashford
Yeah.
for Man United, he's come through the academy. He's been playing for Man United since he was 5 years old. Um, I can't see him ever leaving. The same is true for Messi, right?
Yeah.
He was at Barcelona pretty much his entire life. He's already said he's never going to leave. Um, and it's that kind of also sentimental, but
Yeah.
also actual chances of success. If
Yeah.
you're on a team that you feel like are not going to win, then you'll look for transfers elsewhere. And in this market, I'm not entirely sure how the free agency and stuff works in America, but in this market, the players have a lot more power.
To like, hey, I
Um,
want to go here type thing. Okay.
so uh, let's say Riyad Mahrez. He's a Man City player. He used to play for Leicester, and he was really important when they won the league 5 years ago. Man City were after him. They went for him in the I can't remember which window. I think they went for him in January. We have a
Yeah.
winter window and a summer window.
Okay.
They went for him in January. They didn't sign him, and then in summer, he just stopped going to training. He said that I'm not. I'm pretty sure he was fined and stuff by Leicester, but he can't. The hierarchy at Leicester
Yeah.
then said, well, we kind of have to sell him because if he's not going to play for us,
Then we're just wasting our money with him.
we're waste. I don't think they're going to pay him, but they're also wasting the value. If the longer this drags out,
Yeah.
the cheaper Man City can buy him for.
That's that's crazy how that works. Like it seems like soccer players like have the power. Like, hey,
It, I'm that's an exception, because professionalism is like no, you don't want to. If someone's looking to buy you, they don't want to see you acting out in this manner
yeah, for
because they're
sure.
like, well, we're gonna have to put up a lot of issues with Antonio Brown last year, right? I think
Yeah.
it's the same kind of thing. Um, so the big thing over Sancho at the moment is Dortmund won't move from their price. I think it's $150 million or something.
Is that quite a bit for a player,
That
a young
is,
player like him?
yeah, yeah. That would be pretty much the most. Um, it's the highest transfer ever for an Englishman. It would be, I think top five
That's
transfers ever. So it's a lot of money, but the stats he's putting up at 20 kind of
it's in,
justify it.
yeah, for sure.
Um, but with COVID and obviously the lack of income from fans and tickets and all that kind of stuff, um, Man United want that fee down. But if Dortmund don't move, Man
Yeah.
United can't do anything unless Sancho puts in a transfer request. In which case, that he's basically saying at that point, I don't want to play for you anymore. Sell me to another team, um, and then United can get him for a bit cheaper.
So when you said sell me to another team, like do clubs trade players for each other, or is it just like buy sell buy sell?
Occasionally they trade. You have player swaps, um, but
But it's not as common as it just kind of
no,
just buy their
it's
contract.
yeah, yeah. You'd see way more where they're just buying and selling rather than trades.
See, that's what I've kind of noticed. Like just from the little bit that I've looked to, it's like, oh well, they're buying their contract and bringing them over here instead of like just trading. Hey, we'll give you him for him type thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So another issue, like when it comes to me, like when I am looking into the market, is there's so many different positions to look into. Like on the soccer team, like when you see basketball, most of the time centers haven't sold very well, but recently they have picked up in price. So if I'm looking on a team, what main positions are going to sell the highest?
So the four main ones you got is striker. You got the left wing, the right wing, and what we call number 10, which is a attacking midfielder. So if I gave examples for a striker, you're looking at someone like Ronaldo. For a winger, someone like Hazard. I think Messi keeps changing his position. But he can play anywhere. He'll play any of those four positions,
See, that's
right?
that's what I was kind of curious. Also, was will these players like will they just kind of play different positions. Like, you have baseball players that can play all 9 positions. Like, is that something that they're also capable of doing?
Yeah, so the front three, so actually the wingers can usually play either side. So Pulisic is currently playing on the left. I'm sure he could play on the right as well. Um, and you would see some movement potentially.
Yeah.
So let me go back a little bit quickly.
Okay.
So you've got the wingers on either side, the striker at the front, and the number 10, who's the attacking midfielder and sits just behind the striker. So if you're looking at scoring goals,
Yeah.
95% of them are going to come from those four.
Okay.
And a lot of the assists too. So someone like Kevin De Bruyne, he's gone crazy at the moment for prices. I think he was undervalued for so long. He is miles better than any player in the Premier League. He's in a whole other league himself. He's amazing. And he plays that number 10 role. So you'll
Okay.
see him assist. So how many goals he had the assist record this year, I'm pretty sure, where he got close to it, which is insane. And what you were talking about switching positions, it does happen on occasion. And what's really interesting is someone like Alphonso Davies at the moment.
Yeah.
A lot of hype around him, North American kid, really, really talented. Again, only 19, and he's currently playing.
Crazy.
Yeah,
So crazy.
He's currently playing left back for Bayern Munich. At the Whitecaps, I think he used to play for in Vancouver.
Yeah.
He used to be a left winger. He's currently taking a defensive role. But what we've seen in modern football is the movement from these right and left backs, these defenders, to become more attacking and put crosses into the box and get lots of assists.
Yeah.
So from that position, it's actually not too difficult to push up and play on the wing.
Okay.
So one example I can give is Gareth Bale. He used to be a right back, and then he got moved onto the right wing, and then he moved to Real Madrid, and then he started playing golf or something. I don't know. His career really just fallen off a cliff. But that's that kind of progression.
Yeah.
Someone like Davies, I wouldn't be surprised if he also did that, which makes a few of the players in those positions worth buying.
Okay.
At the moment, defenders don't really get any love. I've seen Ramos for some reason, his 2014 Prism, keep going up in price at the moment.
Do you think that just has to do with that specific set just kind of
That's,
rising
that's
all
I
in
agree.
general?
Yeah, I think it's that set, and he is one of the all-time greats as a defender. So I
Yeah.
think maybe that plays into it as well. And goalkeepers, again, no real movement in prices. No one's really interested. But I think we could see that change, especially with that 2014 Prism set. You've got Buffon, you've got Neuer in there who won the World Cup that year. So, I mean, I'm not going to see huge increases in those, and that's not where I'd be putting my money. I'd definitely been putting it in the front four players on the pitch, a little bit maybe on some right and left backs if they're talented, and a few other midfielders. So Pogba, Modric was a big talk before. It's a bit old now, but those are the players definitely that I'd be looking for.
Okay. And another thing that I kind of ask my subscribers, like, hey, like, what are some questions you want me to ask? And a big one is like the players. Everybody wants to know what players should I look at. So could you kind of give me a general idea of like the top 5 players that you're currently looking at, besides like the big names like Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe, Neymar? Like, I feel like those are like the 4 guys that everybody kind of knows.
I say that I've been buying Timo Werner heavily at the moment.
Okay.
He's just transferred to Chelsea. Their attack looks really strong next year, especially if they sign Havertz. And I think he's going to get a lot of goals. I think people don't realize how good he is. And I think next year in the Euros, Germany are going to do really well.
Okay.
So he's a German player, and he's going to be their striker too. So I think he's going to get a lot of goals for Chelsea, and for Germany. 2 Englishmen. I'll be looking at Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho. Sancho, I think at this point everyone knows as well as
Yeah, that's kind of like
well
the
as the
5th
others.
guy that.
Yeah. So, but Marcus Rashford is really interesting for me how his cards haven't picked up yet. So I've got this that I bought the other day, which is amazing. This is a
I seen the picture you posted.
yeah
That
2018 Prism World Cup camo out of 20.
that's a true gem, right? It's
Yeah,
all nine
true
fives.
gem,
Okay.
9.5. It is cracked at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to send it to probably to PSA just because I think it should be able to get a 10. Um, but for him, he's been playing. So everyone loves Mason Greenwood at the moment.
Yeah.
He did.
I kind of hopped on that train just a little bit.
I'm a Man United supporter, and I understand the hype. He's crazy, but 5 years ago, I think it was 5 years ago, when Rashford burst onto the scene,
Yeah.
he was 18 as well, or 17 or 18. He was doing the same things that Greenwood was doing back then,
And
and
now,
and now he's 5 years older. He's already had so much experience in the toughest league. And this season, he just put up his best ever stats. And obviously, Man United as a team are improving as well. And obviously, as a Man U supporter, I'm a bit biased, but he's only $20 for his base.
I have like 5 or 6 different auctions I'm watching that are ending in the next couple of days. I'm gonna try to grab some because obviously I've been watching what you've been posting and kind of checking things out.
I think a lot of these players are really going to pick up during the Euros.
Okay.
Until then, I'm not sure because the English teams haven't done very well in Europe this year in terms of the Champions League. Only Man City's on it. And actually, speaking of Man City, I have this card, which was ridiculous. This Raheem Sterling
The
gold,
gold. Yeah,
yeah,
that's nasty.
of 10. This was this. I got this for $75, which is ridiculous.
It's
He is one of the best players in the world right now. If you there's an Instagram account called Transfer Market, and
okay.
they do their own valuations of players.
Okay.
And number one is Mbappe. He's the most valuable player
Yeah.
in the world. Number two is Raheem Sterling.
Really?
Yep, he's only 26. Still got plenty of years ahead of him. He's playing for Man City. He scored in their last Champions League game. He's going to do well, I think, for England in the Euros. And yeah, like I said, he's just had his best ever goal scoring season too. And he's only 26. He's got another 5 solid years ahead of him. And his base, I think, is only $5 or something like that. So
Man, extremely undervalued right now.
really undervalued. And I think I saw a bit of movement on prices when he scored that goal a few days ago.
But not a
But
ton like you thought was going to happen.
not like when Luca puts up a stupid game and he goes up like $500, right? I saw a couple go for like 12 instead of 10, right?
It's like, okay, that's $7 is way different than like a $500 increase. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see like what one game, one goal will do for these players.
Yeah, it's huge. Who else am I looking at? I am actually looking a lot about the 2018 Prism set in general.
Because of like the 14 set just kind of getting crazy high.
Yeah, getting crazy.
Okay.
And it's becoming super unaffordable. And it will be by the end of the year, it's going to be crazy prices. And I think people are turning to 2018 for a cheaper alternative. So the biggest appeal in the 2018 for me is players that aren't European.
Okay.
Because there's a 2016 Euro Prism set.
Yeah.
So if I'm thinking of Messi, he has a 2014 Prism, a 2018 Prism, and he'll have a 2022 Prism, and that'll be it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So he'll only ever have three. They will all be valuable, right?
Yeah.
And we've started to see a big shift in 2018. So I bought this Neymar Blue Laser.
Is that the 2018?
2018 Prism.
Okay.
Out of 125. About a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, for I think it was just over $100.
Okay.
And a base sold yesterday for 25 already.
Okay.
And they were again 7, I think, 2 weeks ago.
So that could be something that, as an investor, could kind of look into to jump on early because of the Prism getting so outpriced right now for me.
Definitely. And we're just going to see both sets grow so much because when you don't have like you do with basketball, Prism cards every single year.
Yeah,
The
this
few
is
ones that you have become way more valuable,
for sure.
especially the silvers and these parallels. But
Yeah.
you'll still see really good movement on these base ones if you can do it at the right time.
Yeah. And that's something I've noticed. Like, I feel like most people, when they jump into it, they go towards the base. But these numbers cards, like you have, are criminally undervalued compared to the base card. Like, but they don't think about
Yeah,
that. They're like, I don't want to spend $40 on this card. What if it goes down? I'll just buy a base. Whereas as soon as the market picks up for them, those numbered cards are skyrocketing way quicker than those base cards are.
exactly. The biggest opportunity is either at the bottom or the top of the market,
Yeah.
generally. So you'll see if you can get in early before the bases pick up,
Yeah.
you can make, and they're also the first ones to move up as well. So even if you pick it up at 20, it's not going to be long before it gets to 30 if it's trending that way, right? And the player's playing
Yeah.
well. But when the bases start moving up, the the high numbered parallels are still sitting there on eBay
Yeah.
because no one wants to pay $500 or
Which,
$1,000 for a card that they don't know about yet. Which is where I've started moving into that space. Once you make some deals, you have a bit more money to play with. You can move into it, and it's crazy. So this is a Ronaldo 2016 Euro Prism out of 99.
okay.
So I picked this up for, I think it was $250 about a week ago, about 2 weeks ago, because I saw that the silvers were already around the 200 mark. They were about
You're like,
170-ish, and I was like, this is not right.
this
And
shouldn't be
then
this close in price.
exactly, and a red 149 sold yesterday for 850. So it's once you have a better understanding of the market, you can see, or because this happens in every single player and every single
Yeah.
set, you can pick up on these and get them while they're still undervalued.
And I feel like a lot of it has to do with the research that people put into it and really trusting your gut, because there's a lot of times that I haven't bought something because I didn't trust my gut on it, and I've missed out greatly. It's I kick myself every time I think about some of the cards that I didn't buy, because I'm like, man, that's a lot of money to put into it, and then now I'm just looking silly, honestly, because I just didn't trust myself.
Yeah, if I put all my money in 2014 Prism, Messi and Ronaldo, when I picked up all mine, I don't know, 3 months ago for $45-$50 a piece, I'd be laughing so much right now. Like, I could have made more on that than I would have trying to be like
On everything else I've done.
Yeah, exactly.
But
It all comes down to education, and
Yeah,
you learn these
exactly.
things, right, with experience.
Yeah, for sure. So we have, you said Rashford, Sterling, the 2018 Prism set is something you're interested in. Is there a couple other things that
So
are catching your eye?
Timo Werner, we
Okay,
spoke about before
Timo
as
Werner.
well. Who else?
And I've kind of noticed that it's harder to find graded soccer cards. Like,
That's one thing I'm looking at a lot at the moment. The premiums on graded is insane.
the pops are so low.
They are so
So
low.
low.
So I saw, so like I said, the Rashford's going for $20 raw. A PSA 10 sold for 220. And I was like, wait, this is crazy. Let me look at the pop report. There's two PSA 10s.
And you're like, no
I
wonder
was
why
like,
it's
this makes sense now. I get it. I mean, anything below, I don't even know what's considered low anymore as a pop number, but
some prices, not prices, but some pop counts are so high and cards are selling for so much. But we're like, Mbappe's are there. I think it's under 600 right now for his base PSA 10.
it's definitely more, it's definitely going to be more soon. I mean,
Once
there's
every
so many
other
sitting
back
there.
flag, yeah.
Yeah. But that's another really interesting thing I'm looking at the moment is grading. It's a bit more difficult to do in the UK with the PSA turnarounds being what they are. On top of that,
On top of having to ship across
exactly,
the sea, yeah.
yeah, and get them back. I think I spoke to someone and on a 10, I think it was even a 5-day PSA service.
Yeah.
Takes me 6 weeks round trip.
For you, it takes 2 weeks.
Yeah. six
Man.
weeks. 6 weeks.
Oh, 6 weeks. I thought you said 2 weeks. I was like, okay,
6 weeks.
that's not
Yeah,
horrible, but 6 weeks, yeah,
6 weeks. So I mean, a lot can happen in 6 weeks, right? So
a lot, yeah.
I'm thinking of sending some over and putting some money into that because the premiums for tens, you
Is
won't get bigger ROI on that because all the pops are so low.
Yeah, for sure. I made a purchase yesterday on just a base Prism cards a lot, and like I was able to. Let me make sure. I don't want to tell you wrong the price wise, but it was. I don't know. I don't want to pronounce his name wrong, but the Lukaku, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I bought a lot of 38 of them for $20. I'm like, it's
Okay.
$20. Like,
Yeah.
what could possibly go wrong? And if I go
I,
and get some of them graded, and he has a big game, a monster game, and I have 4 or 5 tens out of those 20 some that I bought, like, you just can't go wrong.
yeah. I think for him as well, he's another one that I think is really undervalued. He used to play for Man United. He didn't do amazing for us.
Yeah,
He's moved to Italy, and he's been
tearing it up.
fantastic. He's been um,
Can you say his name so I kind of know
Lukaku.
how it's? Can you say that again?
Lukaku.
Okay, I just want to make sure I was saying it right.
Yeah, no, you said it right. You said it right.
Okay, okay, good.
I've picked up some of his silvers for $3,
Which is super
which is
cheap.
crazy because he's also Belgian, and Belgium have a really really strong team. And again, the Euros is going to be unbelievably big for the soccer market. Like all this hype around the NBA bubble at the moment,
Yeah,
you're going to see that for soccer cards for the Euros because you never have all the big teams, all the best players going
playing.
up against each other back to back.
Yeah,
And so he's playing for Belgium. He's got Kevin De Bruyne, Eden Hazard. Um, they have a really, really strong team.
yeah.
And I think that's, like I said, the Euros, I think, is going to be a time when a lot of these pick up.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm anxious to see like once the NBA season is over because there's a small off season. I'm interested to see like how the market does after the NBA season's done. Like if these card prices are just gonna absolutely go nuts.
I think, well, there's no off season in the soccer
That's
market this
that's
year.
what's interesting about the soccer
There
market is
isn't
like
one.
they're playing 24/7. It seems
Yeah.
like.
Once so the Champions League finishes the 20 something of
Yeah.
August, and I'm pretty sure all the big leagues are back second week of September. So the turnaround is just huge. And
Is
again, I did a post about this a while ago, but we have because of lockdown, we now have the next season,
okay.
which is going to be a little bit quicker, a little bit more condensed because they're starting in September instead of August. That will then go straight onto the Euros and Copa America, which I
Okay.
think Messi has a good potentially could actually win his first international trophy, which would be big. You then have the Olympics, which for football isn't huge, but I actually think that the USA, if they qualify, can do really well at the Olympics. Because of the other international tournaments before, they're the only team that's young, where their main squad is young and actually fresh. All the top players will not play in the Olympics because they will have just come back from the Euros or Copa
Yeah.
America. So then after the Olympics, we're into the next season, which is going to be a little bit, again, it's going to finish earlier because we have a Winter World Cup the year after that.
Yeah.
And that season then also has to start earlier so we can wedge the World Cup in the middle of it. It's for the next like 3 years, there is off
No,
seasons are like
nonstop.
less than a month. Yeah, it's nonstop.
No,
It's perfect.
that's a lot of playing. That's a lot of
Yeah,
opportunity, is what I see.
exactly. Yeah.
Constantly seeing people on the TV playing. But so another question that I get asked a lot because I'm not super knowledgeable like at all about the soccer market. But another thing that I get asked is how do you identify the player's true rookie card? I know you have the Prism, you have the Select, the Optic, and then but the different aspect when it comes to the soccer cards is you have the sticker cards. Are those top dogs?
So the sticker market is really interesting because I want to see how the American influence comes into this. And I think there's also a difference between saying a card is someone's true rookie
Yeah.
versus what the like price wise, what the
Yeah.
market is going to say is their rookie. So for example, let's look at Greenwood. His stickers at the moment are 35 $40, I think.
Yeah.
Quite
That's what
cheap.
I have as a sticker.
Yeah. His rookie tickets, which again I don't think is going to be his rookie card, is I think it was 200. I'm sure it's come down a long way now, but
Are you talking about from the most recent, like the
on
Chronicles
Chronicles,
set?
yeah.
Okay.
And he had a couple of cards in that. And honestly, I think the way that Prism is treated in the market, when his EPL Prism rookie card comes out in, I think December is when that set's coming out,
Yeah.
that will be the card. I think
That's gonna be the card.
I'm pretty sure that will be the card. I think we are going to see an increase in stickers because Mbappe's rookie sticker is 4 times as expensive as his base PSA 10 at the moment from Prism.
Okay.
But I think that it's almost you have to look at what sets have the most appeal
Okay.
and what's relatively close. So any player's first Prism card is still going to be valuable.
Yeah, for sure. And we've kind of seen that in the basketball market, where like that
Yeah.
2012 Prism set, no matter who's on no matter who's on the card, it has a premium to it.
So the best thing I think for your audience who are primarily basketball and football or baseball,
Yeah.
when you look at the trends, I would say that basketball is maybe 12 months ahead of where the soccer
Yeah.
market is at the moment. So all these trends you're seeing now, like the pickup of Select, Optic, Hoops, PSA 9, the same thing will happen now. Like you can
Okay.
pick up Optic Hollows for like $5 of the top players. Um, it's a trend that will come.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure when. I'm saying like a year from now, but could be earlier, could be later. But we will follow a lot of the same market trends, I'm sure.
So just kind of take the knowledge that we've learned from this past 6 months in the basketball market and just kind of
Yeah,
put that and just kind of
exactly. Yeah,
okay. I get that. So and then when it comes to the stickers, like I noticed with the Greenwood stickers, there's one where it's just him, and there's another sticker that has it was a green border, the one that I bought that has him
yeah,
and another player.
yeah. Him and Mata. So I think the one with just him is going to be, I mean, price wise as well. You can already see which one's preferred. Pretty sure they came out at a pretty similar time too. So the one by himself is I would say his true rookie.
The more valuable one.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
think you get some send it off and they come back PSA 10. Those will go up at least.
I have one there now, so I'm hoping.
Good luck. Good luck. It's not.
I'm hoping.
It's really, I think I've had like 35 at one, like in total pass through
Yeah.
I've looked at. And I think I've pulled out 2. The rest I've sold. I've pulled out 2, which I think could grade 10. I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
The printing is really, a lot of them aren't centered. The edges are just so easy to damage. Like,
I got it and I was like, I don't know if this can get a 10. Like I'm hoping for at least a 9, but it's like I don't think there's many of them out there. So if it gets a 9, I'm like, I'll be just fine. But if it gets like a 7 or an 8, it's like I might as well just crack it and just have it raw.
And if it gets a 10, it's just going to be huge because
then I sit
understand.
on it.
Yeah, I that's the appeal of stickers. It's they're so delicate and that the quality control isn't the same way, and there's a lot less production wise. So, in a way, they would be for the true collector.
Yeah.
They would be what they'd go after, and a lot of these
like
people that have been doing soccer collecting
premium.
Yeah, they want the stickers.
And I've kind of noticed in the past couple of days, I've kind of looked into the sticker thing with like basketball, and I know Luka's sticker, that may be influenced by his like global market, but his sticker price has risen up quite a bit.
It's going up as well.
Yeah,
I saw that. I was looking to buy one. I thought I was just going to stay away for the time being. I'm not going to go all in the sticker market just because
you don't know how like USA wise it's gonna
Just in
take off.
general, I'm not sure. I've had plenty of really like people that know a lot about this stuff saying it's really going to take off. But I think another thing, you need to have that kind of self-awareness around your knowledge base and what you know.
Yeah,
So I'm really happy to just go all in on Prism because I know that inside out and I know what the appeal is.
that's kind
It's
of what everybody knows the Prism set.
exactly.
Okay.
It's going to be the easiest to sell when it comes to it.
Yeah.
Um, and I think a little bit it is you want to stay in your lane. It's great to learn about all the sports and all the different opportunities out there. But I'm not going to go and learn about baseball, Pokemon, stickers, just because I only have so much time. And I
Yeah.
think if I get really honed in on these, I can see the trends before
Everybody else can. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of stick to your guns. Don't, get yourself all over the place where you're
Yeah.
missing out on these great opportunities that you could have seen happening
They're
because
right
you're
in front of
focused
you.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's good to have an awareness of how because I think they all play together.
Yeah.
They're all in the same sphere, but I would never. I just can't focus that much attention
There's
on all
too
these
there's
things at
too
once.
much.
Yeah,
There's
way too much now.
So you're basically saying that we don't really know what their true rookie is or their true like first card until the market kind of decides that for us
Yeah, and
in
I
a
think
general sense.
so. For example, Haaland's Topps Chrome Bundesliga is the only card, the only sort of accessible, mass-produced card that he has. With it's a Chrome, it's a proper set, and that's at the moment people are treating it as his rookie. When the Champions League Topps Chrome set comes out, I think it's this month, maybe next month, he will have at least one card, potentially two, in that
Okay.
set. And I think a year from now, people will want his Champions League card rather than his Bundesliga card.
Okay.
But
So you
personally,
think-
I haven't been buying him for that reason. The same reason I'm not hanging on to a ton of Greenwood stickers is because I think when his Prism comes out, that's what everyone's going to want.
Okay. Yeah. So like once, like right now, like this is the hot card for them, but once like that Prism or like you said,
Exactly.
that new Topps Chrome, it's just gonna just kind of overtake it and just okay. I understand you. See, that was my thing. I just typed in Mason Greenwood because I seen his name popping up all the time, and the first thing that popped up was the sticker card. I'm like, all right, bought that one, and I bought another one, and it took like 3 weeks to get here because I forget where it came from, but it was like $25. I'm like, I'm not losing out on anything, and
Yeah.
when I got it, I was like, these are so cool. Like, I don't know, it's just super cool to see this sticker card. I don't know,
I'm literally the opposite. I think a sticker is just a headshot of a person and they're like really small. I was like, look, I've got these cards. They're like really shiny and they're numbered. And I was like, these for me, yeah, the little sticker, there's a plain little sticker. No, I don't really.
I think it was so cool to me because like I've never owned a sticker. Like you can go to Target and they have like these packets of stickers. So like I'm not gonna buy those. Like they're not valuable. And then I'm like, hey, this sticker card is worth $25-$30. Like this is super cool to see. But yeah, that was more of a panic buy. Like I didn't want to miss out on the opportunity there.
There's a lot of FOMO at the moment.
Big time.
A lot of people are going to lose money that way. I think there's way too many people that have hopped aboard the Greenwood train too early because, like I said, I think that Prism's going to be the card, but also I do believe in him and I do think he's going to be really good. But I also think Sancho is going to move to United this summer.
Okay.
So once he comes over and Greenwood's on the bench, how many minutes is he going to get next season? Is he going to be used just as rotation? Is he only going to play in the smaller games? A lot of people, like I saw the market, how it reacted to Bobo in that one scrimmage game, which was ridiculous.
I turned down a Prism Silver for like $300. I'm like, this is nuts. Like I'm not buying that. And the next thing you know, it's $800. It was one game, and he didn't shoot that well. Like he had 16 points, but his shooting percentage, it was terrible.
I don't know a lot about basketball, but I know 16 isn't that good. So
no. It was like it was his first game, and people were just too hyped up about it.
The soccer market is not to that level yet. It's not that reactive. Like you can't wait for someone to score a goal and see their price go up. It probably won't. You're gonna need to
It'll
see
take a
goals
few
week
games.
in, week out, hat tricks potentially. You need big performances. Like I haven't checked the scores since we started, but
Sorry.
if Mbappe's now scored, and they're 1-1 or they're 2-1 up, it's gonna make
It's
a difference to his prices.
yeah.
Oh,
That's
they won.
they won. Did he
They won
score?
2-1. Who won? He scored. Uh, I
I'm
can't
pulling
see.
it. I'm pulling it up now too, because I'm anxious because I have two Mbappes. Let's see. Let's see.
I don't think he did.
He didn't.
I don't think he did. But for him to come on when they're 1-0 behind and then
And then
win
they did
2-1,
win. It's
and they
because of
won
him.
2-1 in the last, I think, 25 minutes of the match, I'm sure we're going to see a market reaction because
Yeah.
now, I think the other reason is now they're in the semi-finals. They're 2 games away from the trophy, and if he wins that, they're just going to go crazy. The price is going to be unbelievable. So
Yeah.
we will
I
see a
told
spike.
I told you a couple days ago that I had somebody offer me one for 1,000, and I was like, all right, let's do it. And
That
he's
was a
like,
good
yeah,
bit.
no. He's like, we're not doing it no more. I was like, I just checked. I was like, I had the chance, but he backed out on me super quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to keep you too much longer. But another question that I get asked is, people are just getting into it. They're just getting started, and they have $100. What would you recommend them doing with that? You have 100. I say, for your experience, like you have $100. What are you doing right now with it?
I would be putting it into. I'm assuming the goal is to just keep flipping, right? And you want to
Yeah,
increase that.
yeah,
So I would be putting it into either the 2018 Prism set, into players like Neymar. I think Messi and Ronaldo are now $60, I
okay,
think. So they're a bit unaffordable in that budget. So I'd be putting it into Neymar 2018, Rashford, Werner, who I think are both going to have good seasons next year. Or I'd be splitting it up into people where the transfers go bump. So someone like Havertz, when he moves to Chelsea, I'm sure he's gonna play well at the start because that Chelsea attack is gonna be lethal. Um, he's gonna see a big increase, I think, after September, October time. Same thing with Sancho. Those are the two routes I'd go down. I think the Prism one's probably a bit more stable, a bit more certain. But
okay,
I think you could definitely see more upside with the Havertz and the Sancho cards.
okay. And then with like you said with Sancho, his Topps Chrome is like the card that people are looking at for
Yeah,
his. Okay,
yeah. But I do think his card is also interesting because his other optic has the rated rookie and he's
yeah,
in an England shirt. So if for now it's going to be the Topps Chrome, but if England do end up winning something like the Euros, like the World Cup, even the World Cup in 2026, and I feel like the demand for, and I'm sure he's going to play a big role in that. He's going to be in the England team for the next 10 years, I'm certain. So the demand for him in an England kit with a rookie logo symbol, the
yeah.
demand for that would pick up. So that's another case where the kits might come into play. The same thing with Pulisic
See,
potentially.
that's something that I've kind of seen, that is not many cards have that rookie card. Like that's what everybody's like. If I see a card and it has that rookie card, I'm like, all right, this is a good
Yeah,
buy here. But not many soccer cards actually have that, which I've seen recently. There was a who was it? There was a Topps Now card that got released that had
the
the rookie.
green card,
Was it Greenwood?
green card. Yep,
That
it
had the
was
rookie card logo, and it's
genius,
like,
genius from Tops. There was
yeah, it's like
the only
super
way.
smart.
Super smart. It was the last way that they could claim rookie card on it, I'm pretty sure. And just while the hype's going to get back up again because United are going to be in Europa, and I don't know if you watched the game, he played really well. He
I,
scored one
I,
goal which
I
was offside and he hit the post. Like, played really well. Um, yeah, Tops.
did you buy any of those?
I didn't,
I
just
didn't. Okay.
because I wasn't I'm not a big fan of the Tops Now set. I'm not
Same.
sure.
I didn't. Yeah, I'm not a big fan
Yeah,
of tops now.
I'm not sure about that set, but I'm pretty sure that print one's gonna be huge.
Yeah,
But I think in 2 3 years that card could hold a lot of value as well.
I feel like with tops now, it's like as soon as it gets released, it goes, shoo, and
Yeah,
then it just falls right back down
yeah,
because people are like, hey, what are we doing? But I I learned a ton. This is the most that I've ever talked about soccer in my life. And I thank you very much. But before we do get off here, I wanted to give you opportunity to tell my audience like where they can find you, your Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna give you opportunity to tell people where they can find you at.
yeah. Thanks for having me on. It's been great.
It's
Love it.
honestly been,
Love
I hope we
it.
can do this again and like dig more like deeper into the cards. I hope I can do more and more research so I'm not just kind of sitting back letting you do the talking. I can actually throw some things in there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm up for that. I'm up for that. So
Sweet.
I'm really only on Instagram, so it'll be NP Sports Cards One. Um, that page has grown way faster
That,
than
that's
I.
that's where I found you at was Instagram.
Yeah. So I am going to be starting a podcast soon.
I
It
can't
is
wait for
in the
that.
work. It
Oh,
will be thinking 2 weeks from now. Um, just setting up a few more things in the background, but that will definitely be happening soon. So if
I
you follow me on Instagram, you'll be the first one to know about it.
I
And
can't wait.
yeah, I think it's gonna be great. I think the hobby really needs it because, like you said, there's a lot of Americans getting into it,
Yeah,
who don't have the direction that they should have, and the people who are doing basketball and um, baseball and jumping over into soccer
yeah,
can only name 5 players,
yeah,
and they don't really understand it properly. They just
yes,
see where the money's going. So,
yeah. That's why
um,
I'm not putting out any soccer content until this. Like I'm going to talk to somebody that I trust, that I see that knows what they're talking about. Like I'm not going to do that. Like, yeah.
I appreciate that, and I think yeah, I'm hoping it will help a lot of people.
I do appreciate that, and I will link your Instagram account into the comments below, and once your podcast does come up, I'll be sure to add that back into the comments for anybody that checks us out at a later date.
Thank you.
But yeah, I
Been great.
appreciate that. I appreciate this, and like I said, I hope we can do this again
Yeah, definitely,
for
definitely.
sure. So I'll talk to you soon.